Let me see your identification.
What did you say? Now tighten those restraints. Scavenger scum.
We don't need to see his identification.
I will remove these restraints and leave the cell with the door open.
My lord.
To the rule of two.
Rule of two.
Yes. The rule of two is very important. As we know, it's, well, I guess it's not canon anymore, but the whole Darth Bane thing, the rule of two as far as the Sith goes, and it's a good rule in life in general, I think. You know, think about, like, in relationships, you know, you don't want any more than two people in a relationship because that's just going to make things awkward.
Or a television show.
Yeah, exactly. Or, in the case of us, for hosts of a podcast. Because we've had guests on here a couple times, mostly just Bob Healy. And we do plan on having more as we go along. But, as we saw this week, trying to juggle more than two schedules at any one time is goddamn impossible.
It is an absolute shit show. It is. It really is.
So, I mean, I'm sitting here thinking, right? Because at first, we tried to have Bob on. First of all, we tried our best to you know, round in Bob and get him on here so we can finish the aftermath and everything.
Oh, yeah. We gave him a long-range schedule. We gave him everything. But apparently Bob is...
Yeah, he's busy.
Too busy for us.
Yeah, he works a lot, which, I mean, I can't fault him for that. But then even just the two of us, like the Bob aside, that was a nightmare enough. But then just the two of us, you know, with two people trying to get on a set schedule, and we don't even record every single week. Spoiler alert.
No!
Yeah. But, I mean, just one little thing can just throw a fucking wrench into everything. Like my father showing up later this afternoon from California.
Right.
So that can just throw everything into chaos. And then, of course, we have Eagles games pop up, and then we got to shift back another couple hours. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, if we had three people, like three regular hosts, not even guests, but like three regular hosts of this show trying to align all of our schedules, I'm like, it wouldn't work.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were texting back and forth about it, like, wonder how the Sofa King guys do it. I mean, I guess it's kind of like it's a job. You know, you have to look at it as a job. Like, nope, I got to go to work. You know, you flex the best you can. I mean, that's obviously what we're doing.
Yeah, and and that's what they do. The Sofa King guys, by the way, go listen to the Sofa King podcast. Really good podcast.
Yeah.
They record like every single Sunday. All right, Sunday at noon, we start the show. Doesn't matter. You arrange the rest of your life around the recording schedule of the podcast.
And you know what? I'm hoping we do pretty good. I think we do pretty well.
Yeah.
You know, as far as keeping our schedule, because it's easy with the two of us. Like you said, rule of two.
Yeah, we can maintain a little bit of flexibility with that as well.
But I think those guys are also like they've got what's that called? What's the podcast? Oh shit! Patreon. They got Patreon stuff. Yeah. They've got
so it really is a job.
Sponsorships and everything else. So they're generating a little bit more revenue than the nickels that we're generating from. We never did have that offline conversation about Audio Stack, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks, Audio Stack.
Maybe thanks. I don't know
for the video audience.
Yeah.
But anyway, it has to be a job. Like but it's a fun job.
Sure.
You know, obviously, it has to be. Otherwise, why the fuck would you do it? I mean, the Sofa King guys are like, for as many new topics as they do and still come up with original content and the amount of research they have to do during the week. I mean, it is almost a full-time job.
I know.
Just to even keep up with them and listening to their podcasts, let alone the amount of research they must be doing and stuff like that. So for us, I know, depending on what topic we're on, it's a little bit stressful. Like, oh shit, we got to get this book finished. We've got to get, I got to put my notes together for this. I got to do that.
I've done that with the Clone Wars thing. I'm like, fuck, we're recording in 2 days and I've still got like 6 episodes I got to watch. It's like,
watch. Yeah. And then still trying to be in bed by 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, because I work so goddamn much. Speaking of which, yesterday was my first day off in 2 goddamn weeks.
And you spent it at my flea market sitting in the sun. So I thank you for that.
Yeah, made a little bit of money. Hopefully it'll be worth it. But it was good. Anyway, what are we talking about today?
I think this is we're going to talk about Captain Phasma 2.
Yes. Even though that's not going to be the main subject of the day.
It's a good lead in to basically what the rest of it is going to be like a grab bag episode.
Yeah.
You know, almost literally, Mister. I've got a sheet of.
Hey, no looking, no peeking.
I've got a sheet covered of whatever.
Yeah.
If you saw us on Instagram Live, Jason was showing you guys stuff that I couldn't see.
Yeah.
So we're excited for that.
Yes, I hope the build up is worth it.
All right.
Now I'm starting to doubt myself.
So probably what we should do then is I should probably do my week in Star Wars first. That way you can lean into your other stuff.
Sure.
'Cause my stuff isn't going to be nearly as big as yours, as much as the build up is. It's building.
All right. So before we get into anybody's week in Star Wars, we got a few other things we got to catch up on first.
We do.
First of all, we mentioned this 2 episodes ago, the loss of Colin Trevorrow off of episode 9, and then because it happened outside of our normal recording schedule, we didn't really get to discuss J.J. Abrams being hired on for episode 9.
But we nailed it.
Yeah, I know.
We nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other way to say it.
High five.
Yes.
Motherfucker.
We called it. We knew it. We said JJ's the guy to bring back, and then here he is.
Yep. I tell you what, though, man, like, I didn't think that there would be as much backlash as there is, because there is a core group of Star Wars fans that fucking still hate Force Awakens, and they fucking hate J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, it's interesting. The petition that's been out there, I didn't actually look at the petition. I know that it was been floating around, but there's a petition out there to get them removed. Which,
see, I don't put much stock in that.
Nobody gives a fuck about your goddamn petition.
Any dipshit can start any petition they want. Like, I could start a petition tomorrow to say, I don't know, fucking, we should euthanize all children. You know? Doesn't mean it has any validity or anything else.
You probably get a huge following. You know, because there's a lot of people that are, you know, that don't like children.
Yeah.
But, you know, Anakin Skywalker for one.
Yeah, there
apparently.
we go. But I'm just saying, like, I don't put any credence into those fucking petitions.
No, and neither do I. But it does bring up a point that, yeah, and I think you had some back and forth with a Instagram follower where we're talking about the polarization for Force Awakens, because he was sort of surprised. I should have had it in the show notes, and I apologize, but to whoever that is, but you know who you are out there. Yeah, we're going back and forth about how polarizing TFA was, and that, not surprisingly, that there's the backlash of people that didn't like Force Awakens. Obviously, they're not going to want the same guy to do the last movie. Mm-hmm. Me personally, and we had discussed it about, we think that JJ is the right guy.
Right, because we enjoyed Force Awakens.
Yeah,
so.
I really enjoyed Force Awakens, and I think the tempo and pacing and everything else, if you're going to have a crescendo movie to the end of this trilogy, I think I would rather see that guy with that vision as opposed to somebody who, even if Kathleen Kennedy or them are just looking at it and going like, you know, it just doesn't feel right. Yeah, get that guy to fuck out of there. Get him out of there earlier than later, as opposed to the Ron Howard, you know, debacle with Lord and Miller.
Oh yeah.
Which, sidebar, do you follow Ron Howard on Instagram?
A little bit. Every time he posts something about
Twitter?
every time he posts something about Han Solo, I'll look at it, because like he just posted something about Spice Mines.
Yeah, so. Depending what your political views are, like Ron, I don't know how Ron Howard has time to post on Twitter as much as he does.
Yeah,
I guess you could say that with a lot of people. But so you have to filter through a lot of that chaff to get to the Star Wars stuff. But holy shit, he's his own spoiler machine.
I know, right?
For that. So
like, fuck it, we'll take a picture of this.
I'm gonna take a picture. Hey, here's this guy. Hey, let's get this guy. Here's some Spice Mines, a Kessel. What is that? What is?
That's my antivirus.
Oh, okay. Let's say I don't want the video to be fucked up because of some pop up.
Yeah. No worries.
My delegated duty to make sure that the video feed in the corner of my eye is working properly.
Yeah. Well, you did a good job
over there.
So stay on target.
Anyway, so yeah, JJ, I'm glad he's back. You know, all the haters that are out there, haters gonna hate.
Were you trying to make a point with Ron Howard, by the way? Like, you had brought him up and then you didn't really
follow him, because if you want to see stuff on the Han Solo movie, you're going to see it. Basically, that was it.
All right, yeah. And going back to JJ, I'm very excited. I'm happy. Yeah. And think about this too. I think more than George Lucas, I think Kathleen Kennedy and Disney listened to the fans. Whereas Lucas, he just did whatever the fuck he wanted, and he's like, "Fuck you! No, I'm going to make the movie I want. This is my vision. I don't give a shit if you like it or not." Whereas I think Kathy and Disney, they want the money, right? Only money.
Only money.
So if there is enough of an outcry about JJ and Force Awakens, they probably will listen, and they'll probably adjust a little bit. You know, maybe not changing their whole vision, but
The Force Awakens? Is that what that was?
Damn it. I was hoping you wouldn't catch that.
Like, okay.
The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens.
Maybe that'll be the title for episode 9. The Force Awakens.
It's not. It's not. Anyway.
All right, so I've completely thrown us off track here. All right, so something else. We talked about this last episode. Yes. The poll, Clone Wars versus Rebels. You made your case for really wanting to ditch Clone Wars and move over.
I drew it out for like 25 minutes of the podcast. Like, really trying to make my argument.
And so, we put up the poll. I put up a poll on Instagram, and so far, people are leaning a lot more towards the Clone Wars. We've gotten a handful of Rebels.
Boo.
Although, longtime listener, our number one fan, Big Lovin', sided with you, fucking Judas. So
you knew this was coming, Big Lovin'.
He's on my list right now. But I still love you, man. Please keep downloading and listening to us and all that. But you're still on the list.
But there is, based on the Instagram feedback so far, even as recently as yesterday, Clone Wars is the prevailing theme. Yeah, with exclamation points. We have a couple of Rebels. Yeah, a couple of people that were indifferent. Just say, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, hey, we appreciate that. I don't know. We can let this roll and I think we should.
And I would much rather people who actually listen to the show chime in, because quite frankly, we have a far more followers on Instagram than we do people who actually download the show.
Download.
So if you're an actual listener, please get onto Instagram and comment on this poll, because I would much rather appease the people who are actually listening to the show than just the randos on Instagram that follow us but don't actually listen to us. So we put the poll on both Facebook and Instagram. So if you're not an Instagram person, you can catch it on Facebook. If you're not an Instagram or Facebook person, well, why the fuck are you even listening to us? Like, I don't understand. So, but yeah, I'm willing to keep it open. Though I will say, I did watch that new trailer. You went on and on about it last episode. Yeah, I mean, it seemed okay, but I didn't have nearly as much wood as you did watching it. So,
like I said, I think, the preamble to that is I've also read A New Dawn, and I've actually watched Rebels episodes.
True.
So, there's a crescendo to that I'm willing to accept. Did I say crescendo twice in this episode?
You use that word a lot throughout the whole course of the podcast.
Do I really? It's a weird word to use.
It's all right. Trust me. I noticed that I like to say one thing I noticed about this, or one thing I wanted to say about this.
Yeah.
That's like my thing that I keep saying over and over again I need to work on.
One thing.
Yeah. But it's never one thing. That's the problem.
Crescendo. Yeah, it never is. Anyway, so yeah, social media. The poll, randos on Instagram, we still love you. Follow our stuff, but also get on there and give us a download through whatever medium that you listen to, whether it be Google Play or for through iTunes.
Yeah, I fixed our Stitcher feed too. Our Stitcher was feeding off of our last hosting service for a long time, but I fixed it last week.
Okay.
So Stitcher is working again. So if that's your podcast medium of choice, then use that.
Yeah, and if for some reason you are listening to us and you're having issues, let us know.
Yeah.
Put something on Instagram or DM one of us, or however you want to do it. All things Star Wars Pod at gmail.com. You can email us. Let us know, if there's an issue that we're having with our hosting service or some way that you're downloading us. You got to let us know. Otherwise, we won't know. We won't be able to fix it.
And while we're on the subject, I mean, interact with us. You can send us direct messages to our Facebook page or even on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And I like getting that stuff. And I like responding to people on that stuff. So we're not these...
He usually jumps into it, before I can even read it, too. It's like, hey, did you see that? I'm like, no. When did this happen? Just seconds ago. Yeah, okay, because I'm sitting. Apparently, some of us can sit on our phones at work and just look at Instagram all day.
Well, yeah, you have to go to work to be able to sit on your phone at work. So that's the difference.
I go to work. I just don't have anything to do there. So I try and hey, this is
we're not talking about
the holding pattern of justice here.
But I just want to say, we're not a couple of prima donnas who get direct messages from listeners and fans and be like, "Oh, I'm not talking to this fucking piece of shit." No, man, I fucking
rando.
Yeah, trust me, I love it. But I have been noticing too an uptick in Facebook friend requests from random people who I don't know. If you're a listener of the podcast and you're trying to friend request me on Facebook, first of all, let me know that. Don't just be some random asshole who just friend requests me and doesn't say anything.
Yeah, because we're not going to accept you.
Yeah, because I don't accept friend requests from just fucking random people.
Yeah.
And second of all, I may not accept anyway, just because I'm trying to keep my personal Facebook separate and all that.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Follow the page on the show.
Yeah.
Follow us on Instagram. You get all the personal shit you want from us at that point anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so last piece of news that I wanted to get into was we had a new thing announced this last week, and that is Star Wars The Last Jedi Storms of Crate comic book series announced. Crate is apparently the dusty red planet,
red planet, yeah,
that we've been seeing in trailers and previews and whatnot. So really, from the one Last Jedi trailer, we see those speeders with the Imperial walkers in the background,
right,
and they're kicking up the red dust.
Yep.
Evidently, that planet's name is Crate.
Yep.
And this comic book series is a mini-series that actually takes place during a previous era. I guess this takes place during maybe between Empire and Jedi, Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, sometime in there, because it's like got a young a young Princess Leia and a young Luke on the cover. So
yeah, I'm really curious as to where they're going to go with this.
Yeah. But it also this comic comes out December 27th, so after the release of Last Jedi. So apparently it's going to have some sort of spoilers tied into it or something.
Maybe.
Which is why they're probably releasing it after the film. It's unique, though.
We shall see.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it, though. I like the idea of having, like, okay, let's... Proving yet again that they're not afraid to branch into other, timelines and things like that.
Sure.
Which, hopefully will make your dreams come true of getting back to Old Republic and going deeper and deeper into the past. Excuse me.
There was a rumor about that today, but I'm not going to get into it because it was from a source that I don't really deem as very reputable. So if we hear more from more reliable sources, we'll talk about it.
We should just make up our own shit and see how far it goes.
I know. But, oh, man, I fucking heard they're making a Darth Vader movie next month. And
we call J.J. Abrams as the next director, so...
That is true. So
we could be force sensitive. We just don't know it.
All right. Do we want to get into our week in Star Wars now?
We do.
All right. Why don't you start then?
So you have this whole build up to everything else, and I've only got a couple things. So,
right.
But one thing, the first thing I want to bring out.
One thing.
The one thing. The first thing I want to bring out is actually from the John.
Oh.
So I know he's alluded to some facts of some Star Wars stuff that he's had. And he's had over at my place. This is a little...
Is that the original? No. Okay, that's the 90s one. I think.
No, I think this is an original. Original
Maybe.
Kenner.
So anyway, Dave is showing me right now a snow trooper with the big cannon that they set up.
It's a snow trooper with the blaster cannon. So this is... Oh, you know what? You're right. It's 1997.
Yeah, so it was these mid-90s
re-release.
New toys.
So, but... Still really cool with the way the blaster cannon's set up and the snow trooper on the back.
Yeah, Dave's showing the video audience. He's completely moved away from his audio mic, so
that's okay. That's what you're there for.
I know.
So, but I think this is actually on our desk, like when John and I were still working together.
I have a vague recollection of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I figured this would be great to put up on display with the
rest of my Hoth stuff.
Yeah,
up
the
there.
Hoth stuff up there. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do that.
Oh, nice.
And that way. Now the John has some contributions to the archives here at Starkiller Studios.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that the John was telling me that you would done. Like he had given a bunch of his Star Wars toys to your kids, and then he never saw them again.
Yeah, which is not true. Last time he was over, I did show him. I found the box of randomness that he had dropped off. It wasn't as much Star Wars stuff as you would think. It was a lot of G.I. Joes and other things. But still cool, nonetheless.
All right. Because the way he made it
wasn't lost forever.
Okay.
It didn't leave with Jeff to college.
All right.
So what was the other thing? Oh, so I alluded to.
Oh yeah, I want to see
these are
this.
the posters, and so I'm going to give you one.
So background, so you went out on Force Friday and bought some stuff at the Disney store, right?
I did. And
these aren't even open; these are sealed.
Yeah.
Oh.
So open that one because this one we can keep closed.
Oh, so it's the same thing.
I believe so.
Okay.
I have one opened at home, which I probably should have brought, but we'll open it. It's It's fun to open stuff for the podcast.
Yeah, I know.
Especially for the listening audience. But yeah, so it's for the viewing audience. It came in a little package like this, and I was buying my lightsaber at the Disney store.
This packaging.
And the girl asked me behind the counter. She's like, "Oh, would you like a poster?" I'm like, well, at first, she asked me like twice, and I wasn't like listening to her. So finally, I was like, "I'm sorry, what are you saying?" And she's like, "Would you like a poster?" I was like, "How much?" Oh, for free. I'm like, okay. And then she showed me the package, and she's like, "Well, how many do you want?" And I said, "All of them?"
That was going to be my response too.
So she kind of cocked her head at me, and I said, "I don't know. How about 5 or 6?" So she gave me like half dozen of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay, so first of all, the packaging it's all black except in red letters. It's Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and it's got the Disney Store at the bottom.
It's actually got a pretty cool presentation.
And these are the posters. They're mini. They're like, I don't know, what is this, like 12 inches by 6 inches? 12 by 6? Fuck, I don't know. I can't judge.
Just keep going.
What?
It's fine.
All right, you'll have to fill me in later. So these are the posters.
You know how big a comic book is?
I have no fucking idea, but it's bigger than a comic book.
Bigger than a comic book.
Slightly. Not a whole lot. This is like a deluxe size.
Blang.
Watch out there. Just watch Dave whack his head on his mic stand. So these are the official posters. You know, they came out with official posters for everybody in the red again because they love using red for The Last Jedi for some reason.
For whatever reason.
So we got Finn. I'll hand each of these to you. So we got Finn. We've got old Leia. Carrie Fisher, rest in peace. Poe.
And all of them, you know, it's very artsy with the, you know, it says Star Wars Last Jedi in the middle of it. It's got the December 15th release date. And the tops of their heads cuts off.
Yeah, which is weird. It's very artsy like that. Then we got Rey, of course. Yeah. Emo Rin.
So there's Emo Ren. Let's take a second. I want to talk about the Rey.
Okay.
The Rey one.
All right.
What's the last one?
Luke.
Okay.
Oh, I like how they're in like different stances. They're like opposite stances of each other.
Yeah, it's very Da Vinci Code-ish.
Oh, and Luke is holding a lightsaber.
Luke is holding a lightsaber. So this is something I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Because Rey is also holding a lightsaber.
That's the baby killer, right? That looks like it.
It looks like the baby killer.
And it looks like Luke's is not. You know what? I always meant to have this conversation with you, and we can have it like maybe if we do a lightsaber episode, but we never saw Luke pick up his lightsaber at the end of Return of the Jedi. You know how after he told the Emperor no, and he fucking just chucks his lightsaber, stupidly, by the way.
Right.
You know, I'll never turn to the dark side.
What we're talking about here. This is the Luke
Yeah.
and Rey.
Dave is showing his posters to the video audience. But yeah, do you think Luke picked up his lightsaber on his way out of the second Death Star, or do you think he built a new one after that? Because in the comics in Shattered Empire, he had a lightsaber.
It's a great question. I'd want to research it. I'd want to look. I'd want to watch Return of the Jedi with that focal area in mind to see, you know, was it on his person? Was it on his person on Endor, you know, during the celebration?
Yeah.
Like, did he have a lightsaber on him?
He might have. Now that I think about it, thinking about him on Endor, walking up, hugging people and shit,
right.
He may have had it clipped to his belt.
Yeah, so I think he may have picked it up.
So he may still have his green lightsaber, even in Last Jedi.
So we really have to see, you know, kind of the telltale piece to that is, for one, get closer to the microphone, Dave.
Yeah.
For two, when he actually ignites his lightsaber in Last Jedi, you know, what color is it going to be?
Yeah. I would imagine it's still green. It's got to be.
Does it have to be?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be. Like, again, a lot can happen in 30 years.
Yeah, he's been through a lot, this guy, and he's been in isolation for a long time. So,
and
I'm curious. It is a curiosity to me as to.
And you know what? I know. I'm sure you've seen like they've been releasing more promo shots and stuff from Last Jedi. They released the one of Luke in the all black outfit, and people are like, "Is Luke did he turn to the dark side? Is Luke a Sith?" And I'm sitting there thinking like, he wore a full black outfit in fucking Return of the Jedi.
Yep.
Like, what are you people like losing your shit for?
Yeah, the entire portrayal of a Jedi Knight in the Return of the Jedi was that a Jedi Knight wore. That was the uniform of a Jedi Knight. He was in all black.
Yeah.
That was supposed to give us that allegory. So
Yeah. So like, fucking calm down, people. Jesus Christ. All right. Anything else?
So the only other things that I've been doing for a week in Star Wars, I've finished Catalyst. We were talking about starting Catalyst. I know we were talking about. I don't think you've made it very much further.
No, because again, 2 weeks straight of work, no days off, kind of makes it a little bit hard.
So all joking aside, I really, when you're getting ready to like basically leave the Air Force, they're not giving you things to do, and they can't give me things to do knowing that I could be leaving tomorrow,
right?
Starting my out processing. So I spend a lot. I have some time to sit in an office and just read a book.
Yeah.
So
just manage your station.
That's
put
right.
out any fires that come out.
Exactly. I'm sitting in an office area that's kind of secluded. So if somebody comes and finds me, there's a reason for it. You know, I just monitor my email traffic and sit there and read a book. It also helps keep me from going insane with the waiting. But so having all that time on my hands, I finished Catalyst, and I also finished Dark Disciple, which I think if we're going to continue to have Clone Wars, if we're going to continue down the Clone Wars path where we're going to see more of Ventress and have an understanding of that, Dark Disciple is a conclusion to basically the Clone Wars. It's
the entire series.
Well, not the series. I don't think of it that way.
Or just like her storyline.
I think we need to think of it as her storyline because Katie Lucas actually wrote like the foreword for the book, and I usually don't read that shit.
Is she the author?
No, it's the Christy Golden person. I'm pretty sure.
So who's this other person that wrote the foreword?
Katie Lucas.
George Lucas's daughter?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, although I say that now that you've looked at me like that, like I don't
know. I mean, I know he's got a daughter, an adopted daughter. I don't know her name.
But Katie Lucas has also written like Clone Wars episodes, and she was involved in the series, and she got to be involved in it fairly early on.
Gotta love nepotism.
Yeah, Lucas's daughter. Anyway.
Yep.
See, you made me second guess myself. I'm like, wait a minute. No. Anyway, she wrote based on her foreword. It was like the Clone Wars, much like Rebels, how people are talking about how Rebels was kind of being cut off. Clone Wars kind of happened the same way. Like there was it could have continued on, but they abruptly.
They straight up canceled it. Like it wasn't like Rebels where they're going into the fourth season. Like this is gonna be the last season, and whatnot.
Yeah, they didn't give. I guess the point of that is they didn't give it an opportunity to like really conclude naturally.
Right.
So, and she talks about that in the foreword. So, reading this book and it gets you're going to see Ventress a lot in the in the Clone Wars, obviously, and I think it gives you a perspective of the character that is very interesting.
Good.
So it was good. It was a good read. I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
when we want to incorporate it, maybe later into some Clone Wars viewing. It doesn't necessarily spoil anything, I don't think.
Right.
It's just kind of like another episode, but it'd be an episode that would be later. It'd be kind of like watching an episode out of order.
Right. So I mean, me personally, I probably won't touch it until after I'm done watching Clone Wars. Catalyst. Did you feel like it was good enough to actually dedicate an entire episode of the show?
So I think what we could probably do is I'd like to read the Rebel Rising book that I have and see if it's worth, hey, let's do a Rogue One episode where we incorporate Catalyst and some of the other things into it.
Rebel Rising.
And we could talk to that. But
we could even do like Cassian and K2SO, the comic book. Like wrap in like all of the Rogue One expanded stuff.
You could, but there's also we can either look at it that way, or we could look at it as like let's combine because there's the characters in there for it's a little developmental for Tarkin and some other things too. So
in Catalyst,
so you get some interaction in there that's like is interesting.
Okay,
so. finish reading it, and then we'll decide what we're going to do with it. But I finished it. I enjoyed it. Well, and we're going to talk about Catalyst at some point, probably in depth. Whether we dedicate a whole episode to it or not.
Okay.
I think we're going to combine it with something, even if it's just combining it with Tarkin.
Yeah, maybe do like that, Tarkin Thrawn kind of thing.
So, but I will say about Dark Disciple, if you're going to read it, there's some parts of it that slows down, or like, where it's like, okay, man, the end's got to be coming. Like, I'm only halfway through this book. Like, it should already be over. And it's like,
really?
But yet there's more. You know, almost like the Clone Wars movie. Where it was like, this really feels like it should be separated into separate episodes.
Right.
Instead, this was a novelization of it. So, granted, it's all right. You went from chapter 37 to chapter 38. Now it seems to be starting something like, it's worth it. Mm-hmm. But there definitely were points where I'm reading it going like, man, when is this going to, let's fucking just do it already.
Yeah.
So, anyway. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about, not the last thing I want to talk about. Watch the Star Wars show. So the Star Wars show is on StarWars.com. Mm-hmm. And I say that to everyone else that's out there because I'm sure people are watching it. Otherwise, they wouldn't be putting out any content. Like Disney's not foolish enough to just say, all right, we're going to pay 2 people to do this show. It's what, 12 minutes?
Yeah, it's really short.
Yeah, and it has it's nice production quality, and but there is some insider stuff that happens in there where I think is pretty cool.
Right, and that's where they announced some things. Like, remember when we did the new Imperial Walker and the First Order Dreadnought a couple weeks ago? That's where they first revealed it, was through the Star Wars show. So, and the 2 hosts are actually, their interaction is pretty good. So, there's a lot of good content on StarWars.com and through the Star Wars app that people I don't know necessarily is out there. Mm-hmm. So, if you're jonesing, it's a good place to be. Yeah. And now the last thing I want to say. Hold on. Before you move on to your last thing, they also started a new show on StarWars.com. I don't know if you heard about that, but it's like Science and Star Wars, something like that. It's another like short, like 12-minute show.
Yeah, it's the male host whose name's escaping me right now.
Yeah,
and he's running it. And I watched the first episode. And it
the
was
lightsaber
one.
Yeah.
So they basically made like a plasma stick and cut open a door like Qui-Gon style.
So essentially,
pretty cool.
Yeah, they're trying to like explain away some of the more fantasy aspects of Star Wars through science, like how this could potentially work for real.
And to go back, it's kind of the Franklin Institute, which you heard me talk about on the podcast before. They've actually, like, when you're in there, they have science shows. And when there's, like, they had the Star Wars exhibit in the Franklin Institute, they did a Star Wars show dedicated to that.
Nice.
So it was like the science of Star Wars. So they talked about, they had, scientists that were up there talking about feasibility of, like, plasma and being able to use plasma in those types of ways that, how that energy could work and how much it would take to generate and stuff like that. So very similar to what they're talking about in the show. I mean, the science is the same. It's just presented in a different way. But so Franklin Institute already did it. And
wow,
it's awesome.
Nice.
So the last thing is I renewed my Star Wars Insider.
Did you have it before?
I did. Long time ago. And it's funny because we were talking about it. I think we talked about it on air.
Yeah, this was like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, and it was like, we should, you were talking about renewing. I was like, yeah, that'd be great because then I'll just feed off of that, right?
Yeah.
So I got a random email that says, hey, renew your subscription for like, I don't know, it was some ridiculous thing, like, 50% off or whatever. It was enough to make me go, I'm gonna end up spending money, more Star Wars research,
yeah,
air quotes, for the podcast, and I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'm doing it. So I renewed. So I don't know when my first insider will show up, but it'll be good. There might be some things that we'll pass it back and forth, and maybe there's some stuff we can talk about on the podcast.
One thing
insider.
One thing that they've done in that magazine. One thing. The one thing. God damn it, I got to work on that. They put short stories in there that are considered canon. So, and that's the only place you can find them apparently, unless you go online and obtain it some other way.
And they put some of that stuff like in the back of Dark Disciple and the back of Catalyst. They they'll lead into, hey, here's another novel by Del Rey.
Yeah,
that's available. I think in the back of the Dark Disciple, there's actually like some short stories that
Right.
first, and it says it like first appeared in Star Wars Insider number, blah, 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 blah. So it kind of, everything kind of came to a point where, like, when I got this email, I was just thinking about it. And then it's like, oh, we're going to give you this much money off. It's like, fucking, they're out there, they're using a force. They felt it. Like, if we send him an email, he hasn't subscribed to this in 3 years.
Yeah.
If we send him a random email right now, we'll bring him in.
Well, it's because they heard you talk about when you got the email about Marvel Unlimited. You know, you got the email about Marvel Unlimited. You're like,
Motherfuckers, I guess I'm way too susceptible to email.
yeah, it's all these algorithms that Apple and Google and all them are running. They listen to everything we say and they're like, "Ooh, he likes Star Wars. All right, we'll send him this email promo code. Got him.
Yeah, it might as well be promo code got him.
It's like, gotcha, bitch.
Motherfuckers. Hey, you know what? Whatever. What's the worst has happened? I get a magazine and I enjoy some content.
And it's more material for the show.
Yeah. You know what? Never mind. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it on the air. We'll talk about it offline. But it's an interesting relation to ESPN the magazine. But ESPN is also owned by Disney, and
it's all part of the corporation.
I don't need the Disney overlords hearing me say something and suddenly shutting something off. So we'll talk about that offline.
Oh. Talking about Disney, ESPN, sports, all that.
All right.
Mark Hamill. Did you hear about what he said last week?
No.
Somebody was asking him, when are we going to see another Last Jedi trailer? You didn't hear about any of this? And he responded, if I were you, I would watch Monday Night Football on October 6th or whatever. You didn't hear any about that?
I thought it was October 9th.
Whenever the fuck there's a Monday in October.
After you said that, I do remember seeing the tweet because I get notifications. Yeah, it's the 9th. It's Columbus Day.
Now, whether or not, like, Mark Hamill loves to fuck with people on Twitter, by the way, which is fucking great.
He does, but I think there's a second source for that besides Mark Hamill's tweet.
Right.
That I saw that was also legitimate.
Right, and this would fall in line with what they did with Force Awakens, because they also did a Monday Night Football sometime in October trailer.
And it was great, too.
Yeah.
I think we talked about it on the other podcast, but being in that, like, I was at a bar watching Monday Night Football because it was the Eagles were playing that night.
Oh, of
and
course.
And we're in a bar, and, like, the fact that when it came on, the entire bar was into it. Like, there was no fucking music playing. There was nothing going on.
Like,
everyone in a
silent.
fucking place. And this giant, like, it was this giant outdoor, like, somebody converted this giant outdoor deck into, like, an, a seating area for the bars with all the big TVs and shit. And everybody in the place was fucking all tuned into watching it.
Nice.
And I was like, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it. It was so cool because, hey, here you got all these random people that are there for football. Mm-hmm. Now, all the drink specials and everything else were for football. But that night, every single person in that bar was watching that trailer.
Nice.
So it was really, really fucking cool. So
I'm thinking, if they do officially announce this, and they do say, October 9th or 6th or whatever the fuck it is, then we just need to...
we'll do it live.
Yeah, the two of us, get a couple drinks, watch the game, wait till halftime, watch the trailer, and then come and do a short episode.
Absolutely.
So
we can do our reactions on Instagram Live.
We could.
Yeah, and then do a short episode about it.
Oh, that'd be great, actually.
That would be. That's we need to put that on the calendar.
And that's just, again, the brilliance of Disney, because they do have this whole conglomeration of different media. They've got ESPN, like we talked about. They've got Marvel and ESPN, which hosts Monday Night Football. Yep. So, go figure. They've got the Marvel comics. They've got all this shit that they can wrap all of their stuff together. It's, what do they call that? Cross...
pollination?
I don't know. But either way, what better way to fucking reveal your next Last Jedi trailer than do it during a fucking Monday Night Football game? Oh, all the Star Wars nerds will tune in, even the ones that hate football, to see the trailer, so that'll boost our ratings up for our Monday Night Football game.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking genius.
Yeah. And I will do it. I will watch all of it.
All right. So anyway, are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
All right, now...
So let's get to your shit.
Yeah, now, before we get into my week in Star Wars, do you have anything else you want to say? Because last time, you fucking interrupted me every single time I tried to say something, and you really you tried to make the whole episode about you, and I really took exception to that.
Hashtag it's all about Dave.
Yeah.
No, I will not distract you deliberately. I'm actually putting in my calendar right now, Last Jedi trailer, ?
So are you not even... We need to find out who's playing that night, too, like what the game is.
We'll figure that out.
Because if it's like the fucking Colts and the Browns, I don't know if I'll even watch part of that game. But anyway, so my first thing in Star Wars, it's not even directly Star Wars related, but it's kind of all tied in. And that is, this last week was the 35th anniversary of E.T., the extraterrestrial.
Right.
Steven Spielberg movie, fucking John Williams doing the score.
Right.
And there's this organization called Fathom, I think is what they're called, and they do they do re-releases of movies in select theaters.
Yep.
And one thing that they did this week, God damn it was E.T. They re-released E.T. in theaters, in a few select theaters throughout the country, and one of them was this theater that's like right there, right beside the Flying Fish Brewing Company, which is a mile down the road right there. Yeah. Right beside that is this movie theater that we have here. And that was where one of the places in Jersey where they re-released E.T. So I'm like, you know what, motherfucker? I never saw E.T. in theaters in the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, because again, kind of growing up a little poor. Okay, like really poor. Never had a chance to go see shit like that in the theaters. Didn't see E.T. for the first time until like late 80s when it finally came out on VHS.
Okay.
Like years and years later. This was like 88, 89 kind of thing. Anyway, so I'm like, motherfucker, I'm going to go watch E.T. in theaters and I'm taking my whole family. And we're going to make it a night out. There's an Applebee's right there. We went to dinner at Applebee's right beforehand and then went to see E.T. that night. And this was just this last Wednesday. I'm thinking, this is going to be fucking great. And for the most part, it was. Very good experience. However, we get to the theater, right? Oh my God. Okay. So we get in there. It's assigned seats, recliners, all that shit, like all these new theaters are.
Right.
Get in there, get in our seats, get relaxed, Oh, all right, this is going to be great. Got some previews coming, got some trivia going on before the movie. Everything's great. It's all good. Lights go out. Movie's about to start. Two fucking douchebags walk in as the lights dim and come on, and they sit down behind us. I'm like, okay, well, no, whatever. It's showing up just as the movie started, and that's fine. And then this fucking guy that's sitting directly behind me. Did the movie start yet? I think it did. Yeah, the lights just came down. Is the movie on? Oh, okay. Oh, look, it's just starting. Oh, yeah, look, E.T. All right, good. Movie just started. Oh, directed by Steven Spielberg. He's a pretty good director. Yeah. Oh, I don't know who that actor is. What's going on right now? What is this?
Are you fucking kidding me?
The second they sit down. So we're about 15 seconds in, and I'm like, oh no, this shit ain't happening. I turn around, and at even higher than they were talking, I'm like, really, man? Are you going to be like this through the entire fucking movie? And the guy's like, sorry, man, sorry, geez. So he shuts up for a little while.
Uh-huh.
About 20 minutes in, he's back. Oh, Chutes and Ladders. I had that game when I was growing up. That's funny. Yeah, he's making a funny face. Oh, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I fucking turn around and say something again. Like, really, motherfucker? Shuts up again. Towards the end of the movie. Like, you've seen E.T., right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know the end when he's like, E.T.'s like fucking dying. He's all like pale and shit.
Yeah.
And like, he's like reaching towards Ellie. He's like, oh, and it's like real sad, real traumatic. And the guy behind him's like, that's funny. Oh, look at him. Yeah. So I didn't even say anything. I just fucking turned around and I just stared at the guy like I was kind of like this, like, and I just stared at him for a good like 20 seconds, like looked right in his eyes. And he's like, kind of leaning back. So, like, I really thought that shit was going to go down after the movie.
All right. So, what fucking assholes? I mean, I can't. I'd have the same exact reaction.
Yeah.
But probably this is the difference. This is what would have happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
My whole family being there and everything. I would have turned around, dropped the F-bomb. And then my wife would have got up and went and got somebody to go talk to these fucking assholes. Well, because she knows that the next thing that was going to happen was I was going to jump over to fucking recliner and fucking choke the guy out.
Right. And see, and that's what I was waiting for, because I'm like, for the whole rest of the movie, after I said something the second time and then glared at the motherfucker, like, I'm just like, say one fucking thing after these lights come back up after this movie. Because I'm like, I'm hyping myself up at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, if this motherfucker says one goddamn thing to me, I'm hopping this fucking seat and I'm going to beat the shit out of him. Like, dude was like God, he must have been like 5'10", probably like 250 pounds. It was all fat, not muscle.
Right.
But I didn't give a fuck. Like I'm hyping myself up throughout the end of this movie. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna take off my glasses. I'm gonna hand them to my son. Probably give him my cell phone too, and I'm gonna fucking hop this seat and I'm gonna beat the shit out of this guy. Like I was fucking ready. I haven't been in a fight in fucking 35 years, but I was ready to just like pound on this motherfucker. As soon as the light comes on, him and his buddy were fucking out before I could even turn around.
That's fantastic.
So, like, I mean, I was building myself up, getting ready to just, like, beat the shit out of this fucking guy.
So, what are the positives about the movie? That we can talk about?
So, yeah, I mean, getting back into it.
The fact that Jason, in front of his entire family, was about to beat to death some fucking poor fat bastard.
Yeah. So I'm
honestly, and if you're a talker in a fucking movie theater, I've caught myself in the theater like leaning over and like whispering something because like there was a thought that came to my head. I was like, oh my God, I want to put this in another person's head. Mm-hmm. But it's never like there's a volume there.
Yes.
That you interact at.
Yes.
Not like you're sitting in front of your fucking television in your own recliner. And you're just, hey, we're just going to talk through this whole fucking movie.
Exactly.
No. And you know what? This is part of the problem with having those big fucking comfy seats and those recliners and shit like that. People, for one, people don't have any social abilities whatsoever. They don't have any manners, especially a certain generation.
Yes.
You know, they forget how to fucking interact with people, and they sit there and they don't give a shit about another fucking human being. That's why most of these motherfuckers.
Oh yeah, no, trust me.
Anyway,
this is why I didn't go to see movies in theaters for over a decade.
Yeah,
because of bullshit like this.
Because people are assholes, and it's only made worse by the fact that hey, this is my seat. I reserved it. I'm on my fucking couch watching this movie. They can't just shut the fuck up and watch the goddamn movie.
Yeah,
I'm totally with you 100%.
Yeah,
fight the power.
Yeah, but
all that being said, what about the movie? Like, so were you able to actually concentrate on the movie? Like, did you get Reese's Pieces?
Well,
did you fucking...
No, I mean, it was distracting and it really took away from the whole experience and it really pissed me off. And if you're one of these people that loves to narrate the movie throughout the course of the movie at full volume, I may get some heat for this, but I don't care. Fucking go kill yourself. Really. Because the entire world will be better off without you. If you're that type of a person that will do that, have no regard for anybody else's feelings or anything, just go fucking kill yourself because I don't want you to live to steal the oxygen that I'm trying to breathe.
There's some people in the world that really don't need to exist.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation, and it might be our personalities, maybe it's our exposure to the world.
Yeah,
you know, after decades of service.
Yeah,
but. The reality is it's unfortunate it took away from your experience because, like you said, you never got to see it in the theater. Yeah. Hopefully, Kristen and the boys got to at least enjoy it.
They did, and you know what? It's funny too because Kristen only saw E.T. for the first time like last year, I think.
I remember we talked about it on that Project VCR episode.
Yeah, so and she wasn't really that big of a fan of it, and I heard that you weren't a big fan either, and we got to talk about that at some point. But after watching it this time in theaters, she's like, "Oh, now I see why. Now I get it."
Do you know how many times I've seen E.T.?
No idea.
Once. Do you know when that was?
In the 80s?
In the theater. When it was first released. It scared me. I was 7 years old, and it scared me.
I can understand that.
And like from that point forward, and whenever I've seen it, even like just looking at the movie poster, there's like a little thing in the back of my brain. It just is like that scene you're talking about when he's all white and pale and fucking dying, and the tents with the fucking everyone's in the Tyvek suits. Oh yeah, no, it was fucking walking around. That shit traumatized me. It was fucking traumatized 7-year-old Dave. Who like my father would tell you that I would be something would scare me. I'd get up, walk out of the theater, and go into the bathroom.
Wow,
I was like, no, I'm out. And I would walk my happy ass into the fucking bathroom. So for one, I missed a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
Two, it was one of those things where like it's like almost like anxiety. Thinking about it because like how like I'm sure I could sit here right now and sit through the movie and appreciate it because I'm fucking 35 years older.
Yeah.
But it is. It's like I have zero desire. John Williams' best work, like you're saying,
right? Well, I haven't gotten to
Williams,
that point yet.
John Williams' best work and everything else. I believe it. I'll listen to the soundtrack, and that soundtrack will make me think about some fucking shit that I saw when I was 7 years old. Really, it's really, really strange. And that movie, like I could watch Jaws, I could watch all those movies, but being in the theater, being that age, it being so big, think about it as a 7-year-old, like going into it, and like it's a huge difference if you're watching Star Wars and it's like, oh my god, I'm into everything that's going on right now, and then watching E.T. going, this alien's really fucking creepy. The fucking the pointy finger, the fuck, all that shit,
and they made it real realistic too. And unlike Star Wars, it's all pure fantasy. They made it, in the real world.
This was a fucking kid my age, going through all this shit, riding his fucking bike through the neighborhood, and it struck me in a certain way that was it.
Well,
never saw it again.
Not to dwell on this for too long, but I think at some point you really should attempt to re-engage and do this.
I probably should.
Because like you mentioned, and like I have here in the notes, this was John Williams at his fucking peak. I mean, we've sucked his dick quite a bit here on the show.
Absolutely.
E.T., like at least the main E.T. theme and the whole build around it before and after could be his fucking best work. Period ever in the context of this movie and everything that's going on around it. Fucking phenomenal. I mean, it's just like the most beautiful piece of music you'll ever hear in your life, especially as you're watching the movie and you're seeing what's going on throughout the course of it during the main theme of E.T. It's just fucking phenomenal. And I mean, this really doesn't have a whole lot to do with Star Wars. However, the two universes are kind of linked. There were 3 Star Wars references that I counted.
There was.
Watching E.T. So when Elliot was playing with the Star Wars toys, his brother talked in the Yoda voice. And then during Halloween, there was somebody in a Yoda costume, and E.T. saw him, and he's like, home, home.
Yep. So it was very, very, very clever of Steven Spielberg to give George that nod.
Yeah, and then, of course, George put the E.T. aliens in Phantom Menace.
Right.
So everybody knows that at this point. So the two universes are kind of linked.
Yeah.
So I figured that was worth bringing up. So enough about that.
Fucking E.T.
Just again to close out the E.T. in the movie portion. Don't fucking talk during a goddamn movie. If you're gonna talk to somebody during a movie, fucking whisper. Otherwise, you may get your ass punched by a 40-year-old guy who's serious about his movies. So, all right, I'm gonna start clearing some space.
Oh boy.
For the next portion of my week in Star Wars, because we talk a lot about how I, or more specifically my wife, does a lot of thrift storing, and some Star Wars stuff is found. So first of all, this one you might get a kick out of. She found this for $1. I think it was $1. Yeah. This is the Star Wars Jedi Training kids book.
Wow.
Now the pages are all fine and good, but the cool thing about this is we've got the little push buttons on the side for sound effects. So we got Obi-Wan.
Force will be with you. Control. You must grab control. Do or do not. There is no try.
Right, so a little couple push buttons for some voices, but more importantly, we've got the baby killer lightsaber that has a little push button that ignites it. It's hard to describe for the audio audience. It's a kid's book, but it's pretty neat.
It is neat, and even the way it's illustrated, it's basically like it's pictures from the movie with like almost like a watercoloring to it.
Yeah,
it's this for a fucking $1, man. Gee.
Yeah.
Or do not.
Yes, but
There is no try.
Yeah. Kristen picked this up. She's like, I thought you would like this. I'm like, you are correct. So hold it up for the video audience so they can see. So if you want to see exactly what we're talking about, you will have to subscribe to our YouTube channel or to the Russo's Brand YouTube channel when we eventually get all this on video. So the next thing going down the list. Okay. I've been hyping this up for a couple of weeks now. My lovely wife, Kristen, who I love very much, she heard about what I said on the last episode, by the way, about the whole Archer thing, and she was none too happy about that.
It's the tangled web you weave.
I know. It's like, I could not say anything, or I could speak my feelings, have some good entertainment for the podcast, and just get the stuff out there. So,
All right.
Either way. Anyway, so she found some stuff at the local thrift store. I've been keeping it under wraps for about a week and a half now, and I'm finally ready to reveal it. So
He's so excited. You should see it. He's so excited.
No peeking.
Should I look away?
Maybe.
Play the whole music.
You can start looking.
I can start. Get the fuck out. Look at all this hardcover fucking awesomeness.
Okay.
Did she rob a library? What the fuck?
So,
Holy shit.
we've got, about 20 hardcover Star Wars books here? There's about 20, right? Maybe 15, 18? I don't know.
This is fucking...
Well, we'll have to count. So, she was at our local thrift store, and they were putting these out on the shelves as she was there.
No shit.
And she grabbed every single one of them. $2 each, mind you, for each one of these books. These are a whole bunch of Star Wars. These are Legends material, so this is not current canon stuff.
Hey, a hardcover of fucking Path of Destruction? I only had these in paperback. I didn't have these.
And that's the Darth Bane series, right?
Right.
So a lot of these are from the New Jedi Order. Some of them are from whatever this series was.
I mean, this is
Fate of the Jedi.
This is canon.
Well, yeah, that's just the novelization of the original trilogy.
It's the three.
And I think we have a novelization of one of the prequels in here as well.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
Right here.
So, yeah, she was at the local thrift store. She texts me. She's like, hey, they're putting out all of these hardcover Star Wars books. I'm like, buy them. She's like, okay, but there's a bunch of them, and they're like $2 each. I'm like, buy them. And, yeah, this is what she got.
Holy crap, dude.
A large portion of these are from the New Jedi Order. And it really got me thinking, like, should I try to finish this set? Should I try to finish like New Jedi Order and this Fate of the Jedi series that I've got a lot of these hardcovers in now? And there's more than just that too. There's like you said, the Revenge of the Sith. There's what do we got? Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader, which again not canon, but this takes place after Revenge of the Sith. In between. Fuck. What else we got? We got the Clone Wars novel Jedi Trial.
Which I never read.
A series that I completely forgot about from Timothy Zahn that takes place during like the Clone Wars era that is about Thrawn during the Clone Wars. Again, Legends material.
Right.
But I completely forgot that he wrote another
I didn't
another Thrawn
read that
series
either.
that takes place during the Clone Wars. So when Thrawn was apparently, again, Legends material, was allegedly an admiral in the Old Republic. I don't know. So yeah.
So look here. This is what's that. For nothing else, like we have a reference point for all the old Legends timeline stuff.
Yep.
Because this is out of the Fate of the Jedi series, and holy shit, man! Oh, God, I love these books.
Yeah, because, we've talked a lot about you being the big hardcover guy.
Uh-huh.
And as soon as she got all this stuff, I'm like, oh, God, Dave is going to love this.
I'm
I would hope.
all over this fucking shit.
Yeah. So I went onto eBay after she bought me all of this stuff. And I started looking at prices for the rest of the books that I'm missing. I started with like the New Jedi Order. They range anywhere from like $3 to like $30 per book. So
this is interesting because I was voluntarily in my crawl space last weekend, trying to run a cable up to a thing upstairs. Like my crawl space is a fucking disaster area, and I'm a bit of a hoarder when it comes to a lot of stuff. Like, and I know I off-gassed what I thought was every single one of these books.
Oh, really?
I may have found a bin down there accidentally that may have some Star Wars hardcovers in them.
Ooh.
So one of my projects for when I have some more time. Just look at all these books. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
The hardcovers are the best.
They are. And they all have the dust covers on them too.
No,
That's
they're
the
in
great
perfect
thing.
condition.
Yeah.
They came off of somebody's bookshelf and into like I can't maintain. It was the same reason I got rid of them. It's like the shelf space that these take up. I just can't maintain it anymore. So they fucking $2. My God.
Yeah, $2 each.
Not even $1.95.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
fucking fantastic.
I have one more thing to add to this.
Jason, you're gonna give me a heart attack.
Well,
This is
because there were a few extras.
these fucking Fate of the Jedi books. Oh man, they were so good.
I never got that. I never got through the New Jedi Order. I got about halfway when they're like, we're shit cannon
This fucking
all the old stuff. So anyway, these 3 are all duplicates. So if you would like them,
I will.
you can most certainly have them.
I will help you out with this.
All right.
And save some shelf space.
Okay, so yeah, I'm sitting there
I
thinking
will.
like I don't know if Dave has these, but they're
I do
duplicates.
not.
So he can take these if he wants, or if not, we can just give them
especially
away, or-
these Zon ones.
Yeah.
I don't have this at all.
So all right, cool.
Fucking sweet, man. You are your wife.
Yeah,
I should say,
all
is the
credit goes to
fucking-
Kristen on this.
The thrift store master.
Yep. So, and I'm seriously considering finishing at least the New Jedi Order hardcovers because there's got to be at least 10 of them in here.
And you probably have the rest of them, right? Do you still have them?
I've got Kindle versions of them.
Okay.
And when I owned them in the old days, they were paperbacks. But no, I'm talking about like finishing the hardcovers of the New Jedi Order.
Remind me to talk about this later.
Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking about, and you know, the funny thing about all this is, I used to own Vector Prime, the first New Jedi Order book. I used to own that in hardcover because that was the first one.
Right.
It was only available in hardcover when it first came out, and that was the one where Chewbacca died. Mm-hmm. So I obviously bought that in hardcover, and I got rid of it years ago, and now I regret it because I'm gonna have to rebuy it if I really want to finish the series in hardcover.
Well, it makes you wonder, like, if I'm still probably the Kindle versions are probably still pretty cheap.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm sure they're dirt cheap, but I mean, there's just something about these physical books,
No.
and hardcover, and everything
People
else.
like my wife thinks I'm absolutely insane. This one's
Oh fuck, that's the Before the Awakening. That was one of the young adult lead up novels to Force Awakens. And I really thought you'd get a kick out of the Darth Bane one too.
I fucking in hardcover. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I read this. I sat in Barnes and Noble and read that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sure it probably wasn't that great.
It wasn't. It killed time.
Yeah.
But that was fucking amazing.
Okay, good. I'm glad you liked it because, like I said,
that was fucking amazing.
I've been hyping it up for a while, and I'm like, oh man, I hope he appreciates this. So good. I'm glad. All right. Couple last things I have here. First of all,
More.
I know.
But wait, there's more.
That's why we just decided to dedicate this whole episode to just like get caught up on
because
shit.
we're over an hour already.
Yeah.
We have no content.
Bought these Blu-rays this week.
We saw
talked
this
about,
on Instagram.
Yeah, we talked about Family Guy Star Wars quite a bit on the show and how we're eventually someday going to talk about it. So I figured, all right, fuck it, I'll get it. Because Kristen pulled it up on like, I don't know, some fucking FX streaming service or some weird shit. First of all, it was in standard definition, and it had like the fucking this massive like FX logo in the bottom right of the feed, and I'm just like, why are you watching this? Why? So I went on to fucking Amazon, $15 for this.
That's not bad. That's
this Blu-ray trilogy.
That's as much as I paid on iTunes to have the trilogy.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'll just fucking buy this. So now I've got it.
This is going to come up in a future episode.
Yeah, we're tentatively planning it maybe towards the end of October, beginning of November-ish for at least one movie.
We have a potential guest host that might be coming on, so we got to make sure it jives with that schedule.
Yes. So yeah,
Outside of the rule too.
Yeah, juggling schedules and whatnot. But no, this is cool. Great packaging, by the way.
I love. Well, that's why I pulled out the Blu-rays because I wanted to see the cover art.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's fucking great.
So much
for something that seems to be like, oh, this should be a throwaway thing. It's a fucking spinoff. No, it's it's legit. And when we talk about it, there's a lot of really good referencing.
There is. Last thing.
Didn't you say last thing already?
No. All right. So we talked about 1 or 2 episodes ago about the whole Force Friday thing. The new action figures. My lovely wife, Kristen, once again was at a local store and she found the rare Luke that I've been looking for before I decided to buy any of the new action figures. So I now have the Last Jedi figures that I was looking for, and that is Luke, Rey, Kylo Ren, and a Stormtrooper.
Yeah, it's a shame they don't have Luke doesn't have a lightsaber in here.
No, he doesn't, and I noticed that. So I'm sitting here thinking to myself, like, is Luke going to use a lightsaber in Last Jedi? What's his role going to be? And they intentionally did not put a lightsaber in with Luke. Rey does. Rey has the baby killer in her packaging.
She's got the baby killer. She's got the pistol that Han Solo gave her, and she still has her staff.
Yep.
So what's this Force Link technology that's with all this stuff?
Well, if you look on the back, look on the back. So there's this extra wrist thingado that you can buy that whenever like you're playing with them and your wrist gets close to one of these figures, it like has a chip in it that activates the Force Link and it like spouts a quote from one of the characters. It's kind of gimmicky. It's pretty fucking dumb, but it is what it is. But that's kind of what they've done with all of these new these standard figures. Now the Black Series figures I don't think have the Force Link, but the Black Series figures are more detailed. Yeah, they're more collectibles than these action figures are.
Well, I'll tell you what, the facial detail on Luke is very good for these figures.
Oh yeah, they're not bad at all.
Rey is Kylo Ren is close.
Yeah.
Interesting how the scar across his face I think is different than what we're seeing so far in the movie. Remember that was a big thing. About
well, they
Rian
changed
Johnson
the scar.
Had changed the scar from
where he got cut in Force Awakens. And now there are also notice this Kylo Ren does not have the mask on. He's without mask. But there are Kylo Ren figures you can buy that has the mask on, but you got to buy it with like it's in like a 2-pack or so. I don't know if I'll get.
I like the Clone Trooper.
Oh yeah,
too, or the Storm First Order Stormtrooper.
Yes, because that's one thing I know I definitely wanted a First Order Stormtrooper. You know, they don't have a Phasma figure yet in these ones.
Interesting.
I'm sure they will eventually, but as of right now, they don't have a Phasma. So I'll probably get her when they come out.
Very cool.
Yeah, I just felt like this was enough to bring up. I'm probably going to open these all at some point. Maybe we'll open them when we have a little free time on an episode, but we don't have that kind of time today.
Very cool.
Yep.
Very cool.
And that is my weeks in Star Wars.
There was a lot of tonnage to pull around just with those books.
I know. Yeah, I had to cover them up with a sheet so you didn't see them. And
have they been in here the whole time
for the last week and a half? Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. It's been never mind.
So I guess we do have kind of a main topic today.
We do want to talk about in the continuation of the Phasma comics, the Phasma 2 came out.
Yep.
So we do want to touch on it. You know, we talked for an hour and plus about all the other fun stuff for Star Wars. Mm-hmm. You know, all the good stuff. We probably can spend about 10 minutes on this comic,
if that.
It took. It's funny because I bought the first one at a comic book store. I'm like, well, I'll just get all 4 of these, right? Mm-hmm. Haven't had an opportunity to get to a comic book store. Just wasn't going to happen. So before the podcast, Jason's like, well, look, you can just read it off my iPad. Yeah. And before we start, because we did an Instagram Live thing and everything else. So I'm sitting there and I'm eating my brunch because I got up late, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna just spend the $3.99 that I would have spent anyway at a comic book store and just download it through the Marvel app.
Okay, so you did that.
So I did that. So I was able to read it this morning before we came in.
Excellent.
So it is yet another quick read.
Yeah.
It makes me like it's really strange because I feel like because this is a mini series, like the first 2 episodes have. If we were filming those first like it just seems like it's so short.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. On
the
film,
next-
this would have taken like 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think all 4 of them put together aren't going to be much thicker than a normal comic. I mean, just content wise, I mean, we're progressing along a timeline, but it just doesn't seem like there's much to it.
Yeah, especially when you take them individually.
Yeah.
And individual books, they go really quick. Not a whole lot because Phasma is a person of few words.
Just a fact.
She's very directive. She's very just to the point. Let's fucking just this.
So what are the big takeaways that we took from Phasma 2?
So it's continuing on the story we talked about last time. She erased the records of her lowering the shields, found out this one douchebag read the records before she deleted them and knows that she's the one who dropped the shields. So now she's hunting the guy down.
Right.
Which is where this all takes place. Starkiller base explodes. Her and this other guy each escape in a TIE fighter. She's got one pilot with her. What is it? TN 3465. And they're following Homeboy to another planet that I guess was close enough to Starkiller base where they can make a landing and whatnot. The whole time they're pursuing the guy, can't catch up to him, and they find this indigenous species on this planet. First of all, very hostile planet.
Right.
Like, and she makes one reference that I thought was a good takeaway. She's like, this is a very hostile planet, much like a place I've known in the past.
Right.
Which was a reference to Parnassus, which we talked about in the Phasma novel episode, her home planet.
I like how you pronounce that. I don't think we pronounced it that way the entire time we talked about the novel.
Yeah. It's the rum and coke. But, yeah, and
Open the fucking comic.
not a whole lot happened. They're following Homeboy. They come across this hut that has some clothing of the native population.
Like a dwelling, not a hut. A dwelling.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, they could have come across some random hut out in, this hostile planet.
Okay, not a hut species, but
Right.
like a
dwelling.
Okay, fine. We
We don't want to confuse the audience.
Right. Yes, a random enclosure where people live, and they put on disguises. So this is where we get one kind of a little reveal. Phasma actually takes off her helmet and her gear. She doesn't let the TN 3465 see her,
Right.
but she puts on a different set of armor, a disguise to look like one of the locals. And then we find out TN 3465 is a female under her TIE fighter.
Cute female, too.
Yeah, kind of short hair and whatnot. I called this from a fucking mile away, though, just because...
That was going to be another female?
Yeah, just knowing Disney and the shit that they've been doing lately.
Oh.
Whatever, that's a conversation for another time.
Oh, good call out. I would have never...
Oh, yeah, I knew it. I knew the second they started taking off their outfits, I'm like, that's going to be a female under that.
Huh.
And they've still got the BB unit with them, too, the BB-9E or whatever, the black BB unit. But not a whole lot going on. Phasma's still being a fucking bitch to TN, treating her like she's a piece of shit scum. Because
hey, what should my name be? You can't walk around calling me TN, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Phasma's just like, I'll be captain, you'll be pilot.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. So she's kind of an asshole, but
not maintaining any connections.
Yeah. She is not one to have any kind of personal relationship with anybody.
Nope.
But that's Phasma's MO at this point.
Yep.
That's just what she is. They fight some fucking sea creature, get out of that, and then they come across this indigenous species of this planet, and they look like a species we've seen before, and I can't put my finger on it, but if you look at this species, I'm like, I swear to God, I've seen creatures like this before. They speak kind of broken basic, and ultimately, Phasma
knows the dialect.
Yeah, enough to get by at least.
Yeah.
And they talk about, okay, well, we're looking for this guy. He was probably captured by these people. They probably killed him.
Right.
Whereas the pilot, T, and she's like, okay, well.
Yeah, well, it sounds like we're good to go, right? Can we get the fuck out of here?
Yeah, and then Phasma's like, no, we're going to see this through to the end.
Meanwhile, the pilot is fucking having to carry that BB unit on her back.
I know. Yeah, because Phasma's like, put that thing on a strap, you fucking carry it. Because I guess she feels the need to bring the BB unit with them.
Yeah, the flat-headed BB unit.
Yeah, and that's really it. That's kind of where the comic ends. Not a whole lot happened beyond Phasma being an asshole to TN.
Yeah. You get a little bit of backstory on this species that's not based on what it looks like to me. They're not necessarily native to the fucking planet.
They may not be.
They got stranded there.
Yeah.
At some point.
But I mean, ultimately, not a whole lot going on. Very little action. Just the one little reach back to the Phasma novel where she mentions, "Oh, I've been on a hostile planet like this before."
Yep.
Like.
Then the cover in the next issue is interesting, like for the viewing audience. Like you see, it's her helmet with what you would imagine is her silhouette walking back towards her armor.
Yeah, you would think. And that was one big thing that we never really talked about when we talked about the Phasma novel, where she made a point that nobody saw her without her helmet on.
Right.
Period. Like, and anybody that had seen her without her helmet on, she made sure that she eliminated them. Which we talked about Brendel Hux. One of the reasons she killed him was because he knew what she looked like without her gear on.
Right.
A weird thing about her. I don't know what the purpose of it is. So
I don't know. I guess you're way more able to keep yourself isolated if nobody knows what you look like.
Yeah. So I mean, ultimately, these first 2 issues, not much going on. Not nearly as in depth as I had hoped. Hopefully there's some sort of payoff at the end. As of right now, I'm not seeing it though.
You have to. We can only hope.
Yeah,
honestly, because you're gonna write 4 episodes of this series. There's going to have to be some sort of payoff.
I mean, compare it to Shattered Empire, because that's a similar thing that they did with Force Awakens. I feel like by this point, by the second issue of Shattered Empire, we may not have gotten any revelations, but at least some stuff had happened. We'd gotten to know these new characters. We're getting nothing so far. We're just getting like little bits, like a small trail of breadcrumbs in this issue. It's not nearly as good as Shattered Empire so far.
No. But we'll see.
Yeah.
That's all we can say. I was actually looking for something. I agree with you that this species looks familiar.
Yeah.
It's like a green skin with the weird cheekbones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like I've seen them before. I really do. And listeners, if you know what we're talking about, by all means.
If you read the Phasma comic, I know we're kind of trailing off here in the end because we're both looking at the comic. Like,
just kind of scratching our heads like,
but that's pretty much it for the comic.
Yeah, not a whole lot going on. The meat and potatoes of this episode was our weeks in Star Wars, catching up on the news. Again, it was just kind of a random mishmash of shit. Now, did you want to say something about Inferno Squad while we're here?
Well, I didn't necessarily need to talk about it online, but I put this in my bag to start reading it.
Okay.
I'm gonna start reading Inferno Squad.
All right, then I'll do that with you. Then maybe I'll just skip Catalyst for now because I'm barely into Catalyst.
Yeah,
I haven't had time.
What I don't want to have happen is like I'll get into something else, and then we're getting closer to the beta for which we know.
Battlefront 2.
Yeah, Battlefront 2. The beta is allegedly only going to be multiplayer, so we won't really get the story mode. So we have time.
Yeah,
November is when the release of the whole thing is supposed to be.
Yep.
But I'd rather, in our journey to the Force Awakens, I'd rather get this out of the way now. A way if something else comes up, then I can read it.
He meant Last Jedi.
Also, yes.
Yeah, no, I agree. And oh man, how great was that the other night when we were playing Battlefront together? So Dave and I finally coordinated, and we played several rounds of Battlefront 1 together, and it was fucking great. I had a blast.
Yeah, it was, and I got a lot of assists. I set Jason up for a lot of kills because he was using that T-21B. Yeah, and I don't like. I'll use that on certain maps.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, I switch my gun based on which map I'm on, but that if I'm doing any kind of long range combat, I'll always pick that one.
Yeah,
and
it's the right weapon for for most of the maps what we were on anyway.
Yeah, and there was one game that we were playing where, man, it was the indoor map. That's what it was. And man, I was just fucking on fire. And it helped having you there with me, you know. But man, I got the most kills of any player on the map on either side. Yep. And then you had the most assists of any player on any side.
So it worked out well for Jason. That we're sitting on top of the fucking crashed cargo ship.
Yeah, because that's my favorite spot. Like on that one, I love like sitting up there on that map, and then I love in the Tatooine one sitting on top of the fucking Jawa tank. I love getting on there and just fucking sniping people.
Yeah, it's tough to get up there. You got
to time your jumps just right.
I went through a run where I was getting on there like pretty regular. I'm like, man, I don't know why I had such an issue getting up here before. Yeah. And then I haven't played in a while, so I tried to get back up there. Can't do it. I'm like, what the fuck?
If you had a camera on me, there were 2 instances where I hopped on that rock and then like, poof, and then just boom, bam, splattered right on the side,
right on top of the
right on the side of the fucking walker. It was pretty funny actually from an outside perspective.
That was, you just need to get your headset game in order.
Yeah, I do. And because my kids, I bought one when I fucking moved over to the Xbox One with my Battlefront. I'm thinking, oh yeah, me and Dave will play and whatnot. I bought a headset and we just, schedules and whatnot. We didn't get a chance to play together. And then my kids like, can I use your headset? Sure. And now they're calling, now they're playing Call of Duty with their friends, calling each other the N-word and all that. Not really, just, shout out to PewDiePie. No, but they wanted my headset, so they stole it. And when you give your kids something, they
it's tough to get it back. Yeah. But you need to work on that.
Yeah,
because as the beta is coming out, we're gonna have those opportunities to get online. If there's got to be a way we can go through Xbox One and record those. You can record like game stuff like through Xbox.
We need to figure out that.
Yeah, we do, because that would be and then somehow throw a USB drive into it, because it's a fucking Windows platform. We throw a USB drive in there and fucking probably extract it and be able to get it out.
Yeah,
or push it direct from.
Yeah, you can just fucking network it to your desktop and
it's true.
Pull it from that. But yeah, no, we should do that, and we should coordinate again Battlefront 1, because honestly, I had a blast doing that.
It's fun.
Do you do partner start when you die? And I'm still alive. Will you do the hit the Y and do the partner start?
Yeah, unless it's taken too long.
Okay.
And then I say, fuck it, I'll go find them.
Right, because I noticed a couple of times where we were together, like you died, I'd still be sitting there firing, and then I'd eventually die, and you were like nowhere to be found. I'm like, okay, so you're like way the fuck over here now. So I'm like, is he partner starting? Because I partner start every time.
No, if I have to wait, like, it won't let you partner start.
Right, your partner has to be out of combat.
Right, so you were fucking anytime you're on top of that shit, you're being constantly engaged. So I'm like, why? Fuck it. No, I'm not waiting. I'm not sitting here to stare at Jason and watch him play the fucking game. I'm going to jump in somewhere else on the map.
Yeah.
And I'll just fucking jet back over.
But, I think the headset would help us, because there were a couple of times where I'm like, fuck, Dave, behind you, fuck. And I'm trying to cover you, and it was like too late. So yeah, I swear to God, if we get the headsets, and we coordinate, like, we could.
What's this we shit? I have a headset. You need to fucking man up and be like, zoinks! I'm taking a shit, or just fucking get one.
I'm just gonna go buy a new one, I think.
No, I don't.
I'm just gonna go buy a new one because I need to for Battlefront 2. But yeah, no. If we both have a headset on at the same time and we, get together, and like, I think we could kick the shit out of these fucking noobs.
It's the entire purpose of having the headsets and doing that.
Yep. In fact. The beta is like in a week and a half, right? It's like October 3rd to the 6th or some shit, right?
Is it that soon?
Yeah. So we're coming up on that really quick. So yeah, we'll be talking about that very soon. Probably not next episode, but the episode after that. Because next episode, we're finally going to wrap up the Aftermath and Bloodline. We've decided we can't wait for Bob anymore.
Yep.
Sorry, Bob, but we got to get this shit finished because we got to move on and get to other stuff. So next episode, we're gonna wrap up Aftermath and Bloodline. We're not gonna do like full on book reviews of them. I think we're just gonna kind of extract what we took from these that are relevant to the current timeline, to things like the formation of the First Order, formation of the Resistance.
Yeah, kind of as our journey to the Last Jedi, these are the things that are pertinent to what we think is going to happen. Like here's definitely highlights. Here's the the WTF moments and shit like that. And we'll go from there.
Yeah.
It doesn't. We don't need to do the book reviews of that. Yeah, people, they're going to read them or they're not.
Right. So we'll do that. That's coming next episode, and then after that, I think we're going to be full steam ahead for Last Jedi, Battlefront 2, all that stuff. And we may be done with Inferno Squad in time to do a review for that before BF2 hits.
Yeah. No, ideally. Like I said, there is some order to the chaos that is the Star Wars, all things Star Wars podcast.
Yeah. And the good thing is after that 2 weeks straight of work, I'm actually taking the next week off. Granted, my dad's going to be here and I'm going to have to spend a lot of time with him and blah, 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 blah. But I may get a little bit of reading in that and maybe some other stuff. So, and we need to talk about the next time we play Battlefront 1 together. Yeah. Because that was fun. I really want to do that again.
Buy a fucking headset. Go.
I'll fucking go today, motherfucker.
Well, yeah, have Kristen drive you because you're for fuck. Takamaka is not to be trifled with.
Yeah, it ain't nothing to fuck with. So, anyway, social media.
We are...
We still got the same paper from episode 1.
Same paper that's still wrong.
Yeah.
All Things Star Wars Pod. Yeah, see, it says All Things Stars. I read it. I look at it every time. It's All Things Star Wars Pod on Instagram. It's All Things SW Pod at Twitter. Yes. That's really the only difference.
Yeah.
You can search for us, All Things Star Wars Pod, pretty much anywhere, and you're going to find us.
Facebook. Facebook is a good way to get us.
Yeah. Look, we are old, air quote, when it comes to I'll tag the kids in something in Facebook. It's like, hey, you see that thing I tagged you in? Like, we don't look at Facebook, They're 18 and 20 respectively, or Kate will be 18 on October 1st. So actually might as well say, or my happy birthday, Kate. I'm going to throw it out there now.
Nice.
If we're recording it before her birthday, I'll say it again, but yeah, you tag your kids on something on Facebook, they don't see that shit. They have to be really, really looking for it, but they will see it in Instagram. So
there you go.
So Instagram, same thing with us. We're on top of Instagram. We're on top of the Facebook postings.
Oh yeah. I'm on my phone multiple times a day, so I'll respond to anybody that sends us a message.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's if I'm not nose into a book, then I'm staring at my phone. So it's basically the same thing. Yeah. Because I'm not being tasked with anything. Yeah. So
though, if your name
I need to look at I need to get a job.
Yeah, it'd be nice. That's a good thing.
I should try to do that.
If your name is Big Lovin' or Brady Lovin', I may not respond to you if you send us direct messages. That may be on Dave to
go Rebels.
But so that's that. Anything else before we close out?
No, just 5-star reviews.
Yes, please.
We're gonna get our videos up. Hopefully, Jason's set up here with the mic. We'll see how the audio quality is for that. Yeah. I'll leave all that to you.
Yes, and now that I actually have some time off, I can actually dedicate some time to getting it back up.
Yeah. So watch us out on a video and also look, we've got it pretty well planned out for the next. I don't know, till after Last Jedi.
Yeah.
We have some episode structure already planned out.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we've got Clone Wars we'll be talking about. We got comic books. We've got a whole pile of hardcover books over here that I'd love to get into. We're going to have Battlefront to talk about. But if there's something like, hey, in our IG feed, our live IG feed, we got we got asked a question.
Yeah, some interesting questions about like Qui-Gon. Do you think maybe he was a Sith Lord?
Exactly, because he found Anakin, who ended up being the Darth Vader, and so we put her out. Watch our Instagram post if it's still that video is probably gone, but
by the time they hear this, yeah,
probably. But no, it's a great way to interact with us. We want to be really interactive with everybody. But if you have something that you think would be a cool topic, send it to us.
Yeah.
We're willing to look at anything and deny most things.
Yeah. But even if we only spend like 10 minutes on an episode discussing this, by all means, send us topic ideas.
Yeah. So that being said,
what you doing over there?
We're gonna do a couple of Trivial Pursuit.
We're doing an impromptu Trivial Pursuit.
We're gonna finish out this episode since it is a grab bag episode. We're going to.
All right.
We got
Now, one thing that longtime listener, the John, recommended that we do whenever we do Trivial Pursuit stuff is that we don't just like ask all the questions on a card. We pick what we think are the most hardest questions on a card.
Right.
So we're doing this, huh? All right.
We're doing it. So, and this is actually John's donation.
Yes.
Trivial Pursuit. Not the DVD version that seemed to stump us more the last time. We're going to go the ones that actually make us seem intelligent.
All right.
Excuse me. All right, you go first.
All right, I'm looking. That question is dumb. Okay, you'll probably get this, but I think this is a good question, and I'd be curious how many Star Wars fans actually know this. What substance can sustain a person in Oh wait, no, never mind. Fuck, that was carbonite. Never mind. I thought they were talking about Bacta. Okay. Ooh, this is interesting. How many stormtroopers escorted Han Solo to his cell on Cloud City?
Huh. So we only see... I'm trying to think, because trying to think if there's two separate scenes where I guess you only see him when he's being escorted after he gets tossed in after his torture.
Yes, that's what I'm assuming that they're talking about. How many stormtroopers escorted Han Solo to his cell on Cloud City?
I'm going to go with 2.
You're correct, which makes sense. Because they were like propping him up,
Yep.
basically.
I was thinking because in my mind I'm picturing them basically like tossing him in the cell and closing the door.
Yeah,
and I feel terrible.
Yeah.
All right. This one's got a lot of easy ones on it.
Yeah, I know. So does this one, really. There's only one more reasonable question on here, on this card.
Who told Akbar that rebel fighters were in position for their journey to Endor?
Lando
Calrissian. It's a dynamite taste. Almost missed it.
Yeah,
that was kind of the easy one. I have a secondary question on this card.
Okay. Well, just
because I want to see if you know it.
Okay.
How many legs does an Imperial probe droid have?
Oh God. I'm gonna say 6.
There are 5.
Ooh.
I thought it was 4.
Yeah, no, they're very spider-like. All right, one more question on this card. What Prince of Tides the movie star, was up for the role of Han Solo?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, God damn it. I'm not good with actor names.
Are you giving up on this one?
I can picture his face.
What does he look like? What color is his hair? What movie was he in with Eddie Murphy?
It's another 48 Hours is what he was in, but what the fuck is his name? Voice like this.
All right, I feel like you know who it is.
I know who it is. I just the fucking name.
Nick Nolte.
Yeah. Damn it. All right, one more.
One more.
All right. One more, and then we'll close out.
As our wives are waiting for us to finish.
Yeah. Plotting against us, I'm sure. Oh, God, that one's easy.
Oh, God, these are all easy. This is not a legit question that I'm asking you, but like, who said, never tell me the odds? It's like, really? Come on, man.
Jesus Christ. That would be Han Solo, by the way.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one.
All right.
Oh, this one's way too... Everything on this one's way too easy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick the hardest one that I think is on here.
All right.
How many systems did the enraged Katina patron claim to have a death sentence in?
12.
You are correct.
Yeah.
That to me was the hardest one.
Okay. Yeah. This one is weird. Everything else is like super easy, but this one's kind of odd. What gigantic creatures nest in asteroid caves?
Oh, it's the. Well, we know what it is. It's the what they're in the Millennium Falcon when they go into the asteroid, and it's like this. It feels alive in here.
Well, hold on. What gigantic creatures nest in asteroid caves? So it's not the Minox.
No, not the Minox. It's the actual creature that they fly out of.
Any idea what it's called? I'll take that as a no.
No.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. It's called space slugs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's dumb.
Well, and honestly, there's a question that alludes to on one of the other cards I had on here. Is like, what did they originally in Empire?
Holy shit!
What is that? Oh, it's a stink bug.
Yeah.
They were originally going to use as a gigantic Monterey eel, like electric eel. Is there more than one?
No, it's just the one, but he's...
No, there's one right there.
Oh, fuck. All right.
Motherfucker.
Anyway, let's finish this up.
Anyway.
Yeah, this original Trivial Pursuit...
The questions are a little bit easier, so
yeah, I think what we're gonna have to do,
get inebriated into it.
Yeah, or I think what we're gonna have to do is, like, before we start recording the episode, we each take out a fucking stack of cards, right? And then we go through them. We're like, all right, I'll ask this question on this one, this question on this one, this question on this one.
Or we just ask some of the ones out of DVD ones and really challenge ourselves.
Yeah. So anyway,
that might be the, or we do the episode 1 questions specifically.
True.
Because probably like, how many times have you seen that?
The Phantom Menace?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen it enough times.
You think enough times to be proficient in with the cards?
Depends on what the questions ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like how many legs are on fucking some creature?
Yeah, I don't know. That might be tough. So, all right, that's enough. Thanks everybody for listening. As always, leave us feedback on social media. And yeah, I guess that's it then. Dave, may the force be with you.
May the force be with you.